Hey there everyone, I'm meteorologist Erin Walker giving you an update on your forecast on this Saturday. Temperatures outside not too bad, heating up to the lower 80s. We should max out around the mid 80s as your high temperature for today. Those dew points, I'd like for them to stay low, but they are still pretty high. It is rather muggy outside on your Saturday, but that hasn't stopped people from enjoying Douglas Lake on this Saturday. I hope you were able to enjoy some of these dry conditions. We did see some pop-up showers. Taking a look at our satellite radar behind me, you can see some systems moving out of here in East Tennessee earlier, and then some pop-up shower activity. A broader look is this system to our west is what we are expecting to bring us some severe weather possible later on this evening. Let's talk a little bit more about your temperatures before we get into that forecast. As I mentioned, a high temperature today in the mid to lower 80s. By 5 p.m. we should have reached that high temperature, and from there, especially as the sun goes down, we'll begin to cool down. But I mentioned earlier, it's not impossible to see some sunshine for today, which with this rinse and repeat forecast, if it is dry outside, make sure you get out and enjoy. Just have an umbrella or a rain jacket handy. Now, this evening is a weather impact alert evening. We are going to see the chance for some stronger showers and storms from that system approaching from the west. Scattered showers and storms today and tomorrow, and those muggy conditions are not going anywhere. The Storm Prediction Center has placed us here in East Tennessee under an enhanced risk. That is a 2 out of 5. Let's take a closer look now at our forecast models. I'm going to show you two different models because the difficulty with this forecast is the disagreement in our models. We're seeing very good agreement on timing, but not so much with intensity. So this model, the graph is going a little bit lighter on the intensity of this line of storms. This is around 4:30 p.m. starting to see some of those approaching storms from the west making our way through our region, but breaking up a bit. If there's not this uniform line, then there's going to be a less likely chance for some straight line winds, which can be very damaging. So after 7 p.m., this model has us almost completely dry. But now we'll take a look at the HRRR, which I will mention since early on this morning has been doing very well. You'll start to see in this forecast, it predicted some pop-up showers and storms with when taking a look at our satellite radar loop. You can see those very pop-up showers and storms that occurred here in East Tennessee. So leaning towards the HRRR model at this point. So let's take a closer look now at the forecast. So mostly dry. This is until about 4:30. So again, that timing is aligning, but this model has this line of storm looking more intense than the last. You could see some of those reds and some of those pinks of periods of heavy rainfall. And if it keeps this uniform line, then we're going to see a better likelihood of straight line winds. That's the winds that can bring us wind gusts 60 to 70 miles an hour. That can cause a lot of damage. So please, as this model is looking more accurate today, keep in mind that we could see some strong winds and heavy rainfall, and you need to have many ways to receive your weather alerts. Here we are now going into Sunday morning. There could be some redevelopment in the overnight hours, but after the sun goes down, we are not expecting any of that to be severe. So as a recap, your severe impacts expected for today. Winds and flooding will be our main threats. Now, the flooding risk comes from the fact that yesterday we saw some heavy downpours, some storm cells producing rainfall up to 2 inches an hour. So this ground is very saturated. So I think localized flooding is extremely possible if we get some of these heavier storms that bring along heavy downpours. And our next biggest threat is going to be that damaging wind threat. As I mentioned, 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts are possible, and that can cause a lot of damage outside and make it dangerous to be outdoors. So this evening, it's just best to stay inside. I know after such rainy conditions, we want to be out and enjoy our weekend, but today is just not the day to do it. Now, there's a low risk for tornadoes and damaging hail. It's not a significant risk, but it's also not zero. So especially our areas in the Southern Valley, they will see the best chance to see some tornadic activity. And by that, I mean the Storm Prediction Center has placed some areas near Sweetwater, Athens, Spring City at a 2% chance. very low, but not zero, and crazier things have happened. So if you're in that area, or you've got family and friends there, just let them know there's a possibility for some stronger storms, especially in their area tonight. Now, as for tomorrow, we do not get away that easily. The Storm Prediction Center again has placed portions of East Tennessee under a possible risk now for severe weather. That is a 1 out of 5. So let's just get a brief explainer again what these different severe levels mean. A level 1 marginal, that's going to be short-lived systems, isolated, limited intensity, winds around 60 miles an hour. It's still storms that we need to take seriously, but the good news is on Sunday we are going to see a weak cold front pass through, and that will diminish some chances of these storms becoming stronger and more developed. So although there is a chance for some stronger storms tomorrow, I'm thinking tonight we'll have the more severe possibility. Looking at our forecast now, this is going into Sunday morning, you can see some systems more south of us, and we're hoping it stays that way. We're going to see another line possibly coming around the early hours of Monday, but I think for the most part we should stay good, though that possibility is still there. And as I mentioned before, we have the environment to see some severe weather. That's because we've got lots of moisture in the atmosphere. We have sunshine. It may be brief, but it will provide energy for some of these storms, and that allows our temperatures to rise. So quickly, as we go throughout these next couple of days, Monday again, some storm chances. And your 7-day forecast, a high temperature today in the mid to lower 80s. Tonight, a weather impact alert is in place. Looking towards Sunday, a lesser chance to see some stronger storms, but still there is potential, a high temperature in the lower 80s. Looking towards next week, Monday, 85 degrees, storm chances remain, and by midweek, a stronger cold front will pass through East Tennessee, and that will bring down some of our rain chances. Check out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the later half of the week. We're starting to see some of those lower rain chances and temperatures very closer to normal. And before I leave you, our satellite radar, once again, you can see some of those pop-up showers and storms are moving throughout. And as those clouds pass through, you might see the chance for a beautiful hour or two outdoors. But remember, as I told you, warmer temperatures and sunshine will provide energy to see some stronger storms. And this evening is a weather impact alert evening. From the early evening hours all the way until midnight is when we need to stay aware. Damaging winds, possibly up to 60 to 70 mile per hour, and heavy rainfall. With that ground being so wet, I think localized flooding is very possible. So need to have your weather apps, alerts on, be able to hear all alarms, and just stay safe for the rest of this weekend.